What's up? The disciple martial occurrence reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-America all day, anti-cop all day, and everybody with them, yeah. So, I'm releasing information about cops and things they have done concerning children. Because as far as America's value system, it seems like that's what everybody cares about the most. And unfortunately, as far as the government goes and these laws goes, it contradicts that value. It contradicts taking care of children with 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children, and them having the record for the lowest age of consent for sex being at 7 years old. That's a world record over everyone in the world, as far as all world records of the modern day world. Okay? So I'm going to be bringing these informations home so that you can call for this system, which is going to fall with or without you. You know what I'm saying? Don't really need your support, but this is what this information is all about, to call for this present system of America to be brought to an end. We don't need it no more. They've done everything you can imagine. So this next officer is Officer Shaderick Jones, 42 years old at the time. He is now, almost 3 years later, he is 45 now at the present time. Okay, Shaderick Jones, we are down now in Louisiana. The other video was in New York. Now we're gonna go all the way down south to Iberville, Louisiana. This is where Shaderick Jones was at at the time of the crime. Okay, you don't have any idea where you're at now, specifically, probably somewhere down in there in the south somewhere. But this is where he was at when this next altercation or crime took place. Okay, so I'm going to be reading from like what the article said, because like I told you, I bring nothing but the facts. This is the article. This is an article, so I'm going to be reading from what I wrote from the article. Okay, this article was published June 6, 2019. Okay, this is less than 3 years ago, folks. These things, what happens is for America, your protest, things you protest about are all short-spanned. You know, if it's not within a year, it's just like a rich woman that's getting cars every year. If it's not the same year, you dispose of it. You like a female getting cars every year. If it ain't the present year, you dispose of it. Okay, I mean this is why you call for change. When you take all this history together, this is how you call for change. You show a timeline. You can't just say, well, yeah, this happened, resign. Timelines are built over time, which are more credible for the nature of the system that you want to fall and resign. This is why you do this, because it forms a timeline, and that timeline is credible. One isolated event is not credible for the nature of anything. But when you have a timeline, like I got dating back to 1880, when the age of consent was 7 in New York, in America, the age of that, which is the record for worldwide, in the state of Delaware, the age of consent for sex was 7 years old. Okay, you take that and bring that up to in the rest of the majority of the country was 10 and 12. So you take all of that information, that's one link, then you link it to now, where you have in Delaware where a female can get married with the consent of her parents at 12 years old. You see how that links together? Back in 1880, the age of consent, one of those ages were 12 years old. Okay, so this all links together to make credible what we're talking, the struggle that we got, what we're pointing to. It makes it credible. Okay, And not to mention the video I just did with 12, as far as 7 years old, having something that now is up to date concerning 7 years old is the 12 states, which is a quarter of the country that has no minimum age, which means an adult can go as low as they want to with marrying someone in 12 states, which is a quarter of America. See how it all works out, how it comes together? 7 years of age, back in 1880, now you have 12 states that allows no minimum age, which covers still 7 years old being the age of consent here in America. You see? So now it makes it all credible. When you have all the information, so you can't, I gotta say this before I go any further, you can't be just looking at, well, this happened. No, you need all that information. This is what makes it credible. Oh yeah, well that happened back. Nah, you need to know all of this. This is what makes it all credible. And we're talking about now the police. This was less than what? Three years ago. This article was published June 6, 2019. That's less than 3 years ago, guys. Okay? I just showed you how information came March 2021 concerning the 2 cops that raped the 15-year-old girl. They confirmed it as of March 2021 concerning the girl being raped, the 15-year-old girl. But the altercation itself dates back to 2018. So you see, even the investigators, even the investigation, it goes through a timeline. You can't be looking at, well, when did it happen? This and that. They still publishing it, stuff about it. Because it's following a timeline. The people that's publishing can understand that as well. You as the community need to understand the timeline is the links that make everything credible. Okay? This makes all of it credible. So you gotta get stuck off the years. Don't think about the years. Think about the stuff that has happened. That's what I need you to do. I don't need you to think about what year it was. I need you to think about what has happened, the nature of what has happened, and how all of this comes together and is credible. They're still following it. In other words, like I told you, the 2 officers that raped the 15-year-old girl, it happened in 2000. It started happening in 2018. The conclusion of them raping this 15-year-old girl, the information came in by article March 2021, less than a year ago, almost a year ago, just coming on a year ago. You see how this goes? You gotta keep following it. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep moving. You can't look at years. They're not looking at years. They could have said, it's ongoing. So that's all I'm trying to get you to do is understand timelines, understand following. Because some of y'all don't know how long these people be investigating people themselves. These police, FBI, all these people be investigating people for years and years and years. And then they come to a conclusion. You need to do the same thing with them in this system. Get all the information together, because that's what they do. Get it all together and come to a conclusion. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to read. Shaderick Jones, 42 years old, article published June 6, 2019. Okay, and it reads, according to police, Jones, who was off duty, went to the home of Aisha Todd on Thursday and forced her to perform oral sex on her 1-year-old son under the threat of arrest on a warrant for a traffic violation. Jones was still in uniform as his shift had only ended 30 minutes prior. Todd said she was afraid of going to jail, and the authorities described Jones, Shaderick Jones, the officer, apparent motivation. Mr. Jones coerced her to perform the act on the child and said that it was his fantasy. St. Gabriel Police Chief Kevin Ambo said, for someone to have that type of fantasy, he's a sick individual. That's what the police chief said. Okay. Aisha Todd was also arrested and charged with first-degree rape incest, and failure to appear. She could face life in prison if she is convicted of the first-degree rape charge. Her son is now in the care of his grandmother. According to CNN, police officers in the United States, this is other information. According to CNN, police officers in the United States have been charged with more than 400 rapes in a 9-year period. So that's dating from, that's back, that would, in this case, this article was released June 6, 2019. This will be dating back to, from the time of 2010, because it says a 9-year period. So between 2010 and 2019, 400 rapes were reported by police officers. From 2010 to 2019, 400 rapes were reported concerning police officers. Shaderick Jones asked a woman to perform a sex act on her infant 1-year-old son. Guys, it doesn't get no lower than this. Y'all didn't protest. Okay, I've already done a video on this, but I had to do another one because now I have other viewers who might not go through all my videos. I need them to know this. I need people that now may be watching to know this. This police officer, Shaderick Jones, an African-American police officer, just in case you think it's a white isolated thing, this man was African-American. Okay. He asked a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old infant son. Now, do you have any police out there trying to defend this man? That's all I'm asking. Any police out there trying to defend Shaderick Jones, Officer Shaderick Jones, that went to, this is factual, guys. This is not conspiracy, guys. Okay? This is not conspiracy. This is not long ago. This is less than 10 years ago. This was three years ago. This was reported. This is not no less than 10 years ago. This is not 10 years ago. This is not some ancient folklore story in a book somewhere I found in a library. This is how you act. You act like I found this in a library somewhere. That happened 15 to 20 to 30 years ago. This happened, folks, 3 years, not even 3 years ago, totally. The article was published June 6, 2019. And that's less than 3 years ago. This woman performed, she should have rather died. And you know what? That police officer wouldn't even have done nothing to her. You should have been glad to go to jail. Gladly going to jail, seeing a police so nasty and dirty, and you shouldn't been able to wait to get this man arrested. But she wasn't well. I think she was a kind of a slow woman, like that type of woman. And the police just trigger her. You know, she just broke down. You know what I mean? But still, a mother's nature goes beyond, I don't know, man. I would think it go beyond human, I would say human competency. It would go beyond that. I think she should have been willing to, even if she was scared, been willing to die. She should have been willing to die, then do that. And so this woman performed oral sex on a 1-year-old son, man. A 1-year-old son. What y'all got to say about that? Not what you think somebody is thinking. Not what you think now for all you weirdo psychic telepath people. Not what somebody was thinking. Not somebody is thinking. Not some of that. Somebody being convicted of asking a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old son, right here in America. Not in some crazy, dirty slum somewhere else in the world. Not some funky, dirty slum somewhere else out of America. Right here in America, in Louisiana, a police officer, Shaderick Jones, Officer Shaderick Jones from Iberville, Louisiana, asked a woman, a black woman, two black people involved, to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old son, which she did. The police, being Shaderick Jones, was responsible. 100%. She is responsible as well, and they're not having any mercy. She's going to get life in prison if she's convicted of the act. She's going to get life in prison. So they not, whether she's competent or not, she's going to get what she deserves, So I'm trying to pull y'all out of false realities because, see, this is the person you're messing around. The person that is serious reporting these real things in life where a man, an officer, asks a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old son. That's what you're messing around. The person that's reporting that. Just so you know, whatever you thought I was, whatever you think about me, this is what you're attacking, which is going to bring destruction on you. Whether you could be Kunta Kinte's little niece. You can be Kunta Kinte's little nephew. This is what you're messing around. I don't care who you are. This is what I do. Okay? This is the world I live in. This is my reality in real time. This is what I stand for in real time and reality. Bringing these people to justice. Bringing the police, bringing America to where they need to justice. I'm good. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm calling these people this system. After this, we don't need the police system. I'm calling for it to collapse. After the police asks a woman to perform a sex act on a 1-year-old child, you think we need this system anymore? You think we need this system anymore? You feel that it's a need for this system. You think there's a need for this system? Called the police, the police institution, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. Do you think that this police system deserves to stand after? Listen to what I'm saying, because you got a lot of attention deficit people. Listen to what I'm saying. After this officer, Shaderick Jones, down in Iberville, Louisiana, asked a woman to perform a sex act. This happened. It wasn't a matter of opinion, allegedly, none of that. No. It happened. A police officer, asked a woman that's supposed to be upholding laws against people like that. He asked her to perform oral sex, which she complied, on her 1-year-old child, y'all. On her 1-year-old child. This is the police of America. Now, how they lined up all in New York for that fallen police officer. You see them lining up about this? All across the country. You see them lining up probably. You think they lined up at Iberville, Louisiana? You think that police station lined up, that Pacific police station that he was from, you think they lined up and bowed the knee for what this man asked this woman to do to her 1-year-old child? You think they did that? Nothing. And not only that, you didn't protest. I'm trying to show you have all you Black Lives Matter people, where were you? You love to go after the police. You should have been all over this. This is a black woman, and this was a black child. I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying. You saying Black Lives Matter. You always show up when the police is doing something. How come you didn't do anything about this? Is perfect. This is excellent information to show people how the police are and how the police treat black people. You think this black officer would have asked a white woman to do that? You think he would have asked a white woman to perform a sex act? You think he would have tried a white woman like that? You think a black officer, I'm showing you how some would say blacks are even racist, or however you want to put it, towards their own. I don't think he would have tried a white woman like that. He would have been too scared of losing his job. But he tried a black woman like that. Black Lives Matter, you should have reported that. Police officer, asked a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old child. You should have took this information and we took it to CNN concerning cops. This happened to a black mother. I know it wasn't a shooting. I know that's what you go after. But this was a black mother, and this child was a black child, an African American child. And this mother performed a sex act demanded by a police of America, a police officer of America, and the whole nation said nothing. These are the police that you respect. These are the people that you respect. And this is reality. See, y'all so crazy, you stuck in some alter reality. I'm in the real reality. You in some crazy alter reality. I'm in real reality. And in the real reality where actions and things actually take place, this woman performed a sex act, and the mother, the officer, asked her to do it, demanded that she do it. He put it in her mind. She would have probably never thought about this. This mother would probably have never thought about this. But yet she did this because this cop asked her to do this. In a million years, she probably would have never thought about it or done it. And yet, you wonder why we want the police of America to resign. We want this just the whole system to go away. How can you still want these police to still be in position? I can't tell you what's going to happen, but that got to go. That got to go. Now, like I said, a lot of y'all are in an alter reality. There's only one reality. And in reality, we go by what happens in reality. We go by actions that happen in reality. And we call that history. I know a lot of y'all slow, but this is, this is history. This is not, thoughts don't make history. We're talking about actions. We're talking about real-time happenings and occurrences that take place in real time and therefore become history. The history of this country is so disturbing that we're asking for this system to just go away, resign, fold up and go away. When you have a police officer, this is what happened in reality. A police officer asked a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old child. This is what happened. This is not a thought. These were not thoughts. These were not thoughts, folks. These were not thoughts at all. This was reality. Therefore, this is history of police in America. And don't you think this is enough for this police system to stop and go away? Isn't this enough for us to stop caring about what happens with these police? A sex act performed on a 1-year-old child? A sex act performed on a 1-year-old child. What is it going to take, guys? What is it going to take for you to ask for this to go away? Like I said, this is reality. This is not me saying, well, I think the police did this. I think they're like that. No. This actually took place. And you see how you are? You don't have no concern about it because you're not really about that life. You're picking and choosing, playing games. And you honestly probably gonna perish with all the others. Because you're not alive when it comes to injustice, real injustice. You're not alive. You're not alive. I'm telling you, I'm showing you right here in the less than 3 years ago, a police officer asked a woman to perform a sex act of oral sex on her 1-year-old child, man. This man said, a police officer set up and watched that. And caused that to happen. You should call for all of this to just go.